What's up, guys? This is John LoPresti with Cardinal Financial. I'm here with one of my really good friends, Mike Foley from Frontline Real Estate, who's actually the first person to be on the 9 Holes with Cardinal podcast. So we're going to shoot some content here, and then we're going to, play 9 holes of golf. I'm going to smack Foley up a little bit.
We'll see about that. It's a pleasure. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How was your weekend?
Very good. Not too bad. I had a nice relaxing weekend, got some work done, and back at it. Happy Monday.
Yeah, that's it, man. So we're going to talk about a few different things today. We didn't really plan anything, but Foley and I just kind of go with it, right?
Yeah, that's it. Wing it.
Yep. And Foley, we've been working together for about 3 years, right? One of the biggest hustlers I've ever met. The guy's always thinking about work and money, has about 7 different jobs.
It's a blessing and a curse.
But, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think your career kind of started as a Nassau County cop, right? Which You've now graduated into becoming a detective.
Correct.
And then started doing real estate on the side, and then started running your own team, and then eventually opened up your own real estate company, right?
Yeah, so originally had a good job before I became a cop. I did car sales, but I made good money, especially for 21 years old. I became a cop. Started making really bad money because when you start out as a cop, you make dirt.
Yeah.
So I just needed a side hustle essentially, and I always wanted to. I love sales, so I was like, I sold cars. Why not sell larger things and make more money?
So when you became a cop, did you get out of selling cars, like altogether?
I did it part time for a little bit, but it's just a very difficult business to do part time.
Yeah.
You got to be like in the dealership at all times because the deals walk in the door.
That's where the sales are.
Yeah. So while I was in the academy, I was actually taking my real estate course at night afterwards. So I did it all online and got my license. So right when I finished the academy, started selling houses and, kind of took off from there. And I used the police department as an avenue to sell houses because cops are always buying and selling houses. So figured why not use that to my advantage?
Yeah. And obviously they're going to trust one of their own.
Sure. Yeah. I didn't have a team. I didn't have leads. I kind of just went out there and figured it out. I was like a YouTube real estate agent. I used to just.
When did you graduate from the academy?
2018, early 2018.
Okay. So within 5 years, you graduated from the academy, got your real estate license, became detective, ran your own real estate team, and then opened up your own real estate company.
Yes, sir.
That's
it makes it sound a lot cooler when you say it like that.
It is pretty nuts. I actually never knew that. I knew everything that you've done.
I've been in the business a little under 5 years.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
So I knew everything that you've accomplished, but I didn't know the time frame and it's all at the same exact time too, which is never easy. So if you became a cop for 3, 4, 5 years and then became a detective and then said, hey, I want to get into real estate, which is what a lot of other cops do, right? They become a cop or a detective first, and then after establishing their career, then they go on to do something different as a side hustle.
Yeah, mine kind of just ran parallel.
Yeah, you just decided to really yourself and just, but it worked out. And tell me about the real estate company. I know it's called Frontline, so obviously it has, the focus is because, I'm assuming because you're a cop, right?
Yeah, so we do all regular residential real estate sales, but I figured why not, piggyback off what I was already doing, as far as helping first responders and cops and firefighters, EMTs, nurses, doctors, etc. So basically we decided to name it Frontline Realty, and basically what that is we offer incentives for first responders and frontline workers. We give them back, if on the buy side, so for instance, if we're getting offered 2%, we'll give them back a percentage of that 2% at the closing table. Yeah. As a buyer, it costs nothing to work with a realtor. The seller pays the commission. So basically we're getting paid and we're issuing a rebate at the closing table, giving them a percentage of that back. So, anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500, the buyer just gets a check at the closing.
It's pretty awesome because I've only heard of it on the mortgage side.
Yeah.
We're always getting chewed down and we're always having to give back to the buyers at the closing table. So it's good to see on the other end of real estate agents doing that as well too.
It's something unique that really no one else is offering, and I figured it was a good idea. And then obviously if you're selling your house, we can offer, discounted listing percentages as well for those individuals also.
Yeah. Or if they're selling their house and they're buying a house, can you issue them a rebate at the closing on their sale to be able to use on the buy? Or it just gets more
We could. It really is going to work the same way because their closing costs will just be less essentially. If say we're discounting, normally I would take 3% on the list side. If I take 2% now on the list side instead, that 1% is still going to wind up staying in their pocket because it's not going to come off the sale price of their house. So whether I wrote them a check, it's kind of just an extra unneeded step, So we kind of just discount it when we sign the paperwork.
And a lot of the guys on your team at your company, it's like a mix of like newer and a mix of
Yeah,
people
so
that
we
been
have
in the business.
yeah,
right?
we have some experienced agents, we have some newer agents. Some of the people came from the team originally that I had and moved with me.
I mean, it's kind of how Mike and I grew our business too.
Yeah.
When we came to Cardinal back in 2019, it was me, Mike, and Derek, right?
Yeah.
And Mike and I said when we formed the team, like, do we want to go out and recruit people that have been in the business but also come with bad habits?
Sure.
Or do we want to take young, hungry kids that are willing to work 70, 80 hours a week for the long run of making the money, right?
Sure.
And growing, a career, not a job, but growing a career, and teach them the way and make them 70% of what we are.
I think the hardest part about growing a team and growing a brokerage or growing a mortgage branch or whatever is finding people who want to work. At the end of the day, it's not rocket science what we do. It's just you got to have like undeniable work ethic.
Yeah, it's nonstop.
Yeah, and when you start, even in the mortgage business, the real estate business, you're not making money right away.
No.
And it takes a while to really build up a good income, but the possibilities are endless. You can make as much money as you want in these
100%.
businesses.
And that's the thing with this business, whether it's on real estate or whether it's on mortgages, 9 times out of 10, when you get into the business, people say, here's a desk, best of luck to you. You got your license, like, go figure it out.
Yeah.
Go get leads, go figure out how to close
I've had
homes.
people sit down at my desk and the first question out of their mouth is, what's your split? And I'm, at that point, we're not going to work.
Yeah,
because 100% of nothing is still nothing.
Yeah.
You can go to another company, and there's companies out there that'll offer you, 100% commission with a desk fee, or they'll offer you 95%. And while that might work for some people,
95% of zero.
Exactly. Look, if you just want to sell some deals to your aunt and uncle when they're ready to buy or sell, that could work for you. But if you're trying to build a real business and you need someone that's going to help you and guide you through that, obviously we all need to get compensated. I'm going to spend a lot of amount of time. I'm going on listing appointments with my agents. I don't take any money out of their pocket. They keep the listing. I'm not going on half their listing and doing things like that. I'm out there spending 2-3 hours on a Sunday going out to a listing appointment with an agent so they can help secure a listing.
Sure.
And they can use my credentials now to show the homeowner, like, I have experience, even though they may have not even sold a house. They sold a couple houses. They could say, well, we've sold 100 houses or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. Of course, and it's kind of the same thing that we do on our end, right?
Yeah.
So we take all of the business that we do and give it to the guys to be able to learn and work on a file, learn how to take a file from start to finish and clear a file in 3 weeks, and what comes along with the purchase, right? There's 2 attorneys and 2 realtors on every single transaction. So for the most part, the buyer's realtor is probably already working with us. But if you do a really good job and you clear a loan in 3 weeks, you're most likely going to be able to get a coffee meeting or a lunch meeting with a listing agent, right? And she's happy or he's happy with the work that you did. Now all of a sudden you're growing your network.
Yeah.
And it gives them an opportunity to be able to make some money on the stuff that we're doing and we're giving them, but also grow their network. And
networking's everything. Like I offer leads, so my agents, they do get leads. I'm putting money behind leads for them and whatnot, which are great, but they're very transactional. You need to know how to build a real business where you can grow a network and grow relationships and grow connections. So, business eventually, the goal is in a couple of years, once you're out there grinding and hustling, that people are calling you, hey, I want to buy a house.
You wake
or,
up
hey,
in the morning, you get 3 calls.
You're getting a call to sell someone's house,
Yeah.
and it took me, years to get to that point, but I busted my ass for years. I never had a Zillow lead when I started. I never had any of that. I just kind of went out there and figured it out. My first day license, I literally took my phone and I sent my business card out to like 200 people I knew, cousins, family, friends, people I went to high school with, you name it. And I wound up getting a couple deals just from something stupid like that. And
well, if people
my
don't
agents,
know what you do, you're never gonna
100%. My agent's first day, when they come in, it consists of them taking their business card and sending it out to everyone they know.
Yep.
That's their first task.
Funny you said that because we actually do the same thing. We make them write down a list of everybody that they know and what they do for a living.
I like
and then
that.
we look at it and we see if their businesses align and if it's worth a meeting and maybe setting something up.
I might add that into.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean,
that.
it works,
like
and plus it's a good test for the person because if they don't write that list, then they're not serious.
We live in a society of instant gratification. A lot of people have a problem with the fact that, like you're doing the things now so you can reap the rewards in a couple of years, and that's really hard for people to wrap their head around when, you might only be making $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 when you're starting out.
But if you follow the process.
But if you follow up, that could be $300,000, $400,000, $500,000.
I was going to say that could be what you're making per month.
Exactly. So, if you follow this process and you trust the process, it can work out. But a lot of people get discouraged. That's why I think it's like 90% of realtors don't make it because, you know, they go out there and think their first day they're going to sell a house and make $25,000, but it just doesn't work like that.
Yeah. And it's the same thing on the mortgage side too. It's like over the last, 2 years, during 20 and 21, how many people I knew that wanted to get into the mortgage business because anybody can get a 2.5% rate, right? So everybody thought it'd be so easy to just jump into the mortgage business. And I used to tell people when they would tell me that, like, by the time you get the hang of it, rates are probably going to be up, and you're probably not going to want to do this anymore anyway.
I always say, now the time we're in, it really separates the boys from the men.
100%.
A lot of people, there'll be a lot of
Strong
fallout in the
from the
next 12 to 24 months. A lot of fallout.
Yeah.
It's already starting.
You're already
it's already
seeing
starting.
It. Yeah. And especially now with everything that's going on with the news, with the banks and everything, I mean, warehouse lending is going to get a lot tougher.
I think the people who have, the banks that have the capital to stay in it right now, though, they're going to really win here.
Yeah.
Because I think it'll be good for interest rates at the end of the day also, because the Fed can't continue to raise rates when all this catastrophe is happening.
I mean, we have kind of a bet at the office tomorrow when the Fed speak of if they're going to raise rates. I mean, Wednesday you get the news, but if they're going to raise rates or if they're going to...
I'll give you my opinion. I think they stay steady.
I actually kind of think that too. I think either they raise them, a quarter of a point, which that doesn't necessarily have a direct correlation on 30-year interest rates anyway.
Sure.
But with everything that's going, like when we saw the news...
I think it would be catastrophic to give a 50, 75 bip hike right now.
No.
It'd be catastrophic.
I don't think they could do it.
I couldn't see them doing that.
No, but I also don't know what the hell they're doing. So who the fuck knows what they do?
No one knows. Anyone who claims to know is a fucking liar.
Yeah. and the biggest thing too is what, when we saw with SVB and Signature, right? That happened, Silicon Valley was Friday, Signature was Sunday, and Monday, the 10-year treasury dropped from 4% to like 3.6, right? Typically that move is a huge move in the market. But because of what's going on and the spread between the 10-year and an actual 30-year fix is just, outrageous.
We saw
right now.
Very minimal relief.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, and to me, it was like, how does that not drop rates back down into the fives, like after everything that we've just gone through? And then you had a good relief, a minimal relief, like you just said, for that first half of Monday, and then you lost it all.
Yeah.
And then it went right back up.
Today, I think we got a little more, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit. I mean, it's just so back and forth.
It's kind of just teetering in the same place.
It's the first 2 days of the week. Like Carlos is ready to buy a house.
You're like refreshing your system every 5 minutes to see if you should lock.
Right, pretty much. And then it's like depending on when you're closing, should you lock or should you wait? Like last week alone, I mean, we put up as a group 20 deals last week of new and 90% of those are purchases, right? Wow. And we've been over the last 6 months putting up between 10 and 12 deals a week. Last week was just a huge week for us. We haven't had a week like that since the beginning of 2022. Wow. There was about $11 million in new business that we put up last week, which was huge.
The thing is right now the clients are there. It's just the purchase business right now. It's like getting a deal is the problem, because these medium price point houses, it's like it's back. It feels like it's 2020, 2021 again.
I know.
We put in an offer $55,000 over asking, $450 list price. We lost.
That's crazy.
We lost.
That's crazy.
It's like 2021 all over again.
I know.
It's insane. And what the problem is, like, every house is kind of different right now, and you just really don't even know what offer to put in. It's like you're just guessing.
I was actually just talking about that with an agent yesterday. Of like, she's like, I'm so confused of what to list a house at right now. But I'm finding it so hard right now that to get a deal into contract. Yeah. Like we're getting accepted offers, and then like every week, like me alone, every week, it's 2 or 3 deals that are dying every single week.
Well, I wish that would happen to the people I'm competing against, because I keep getting told I'm a backup and no one's calling me.
I'm seeing that too. and listen, every deal, as you know, every deal that we have is approved with a commitment letter.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's like $5, $10, $15, $20,000 is a better offer than somebody's already approved with a commitment letter? Like, why is that so much?
I mean, there's a lot of lack of knowledge in our industry.
I was just about to say, I feel like listing agents don't even understand what a commitment letter is.
They don't. Like when I put an offer in, I'm fully explaining that. I'm also CCing, whoever from Cardinal is helping me, Vinny or whoever. They're getting CC'd on the email so they can further explain it, because it needs to be explained like 5 times for them to actually understand half the time. And they just, if a seller doesn't understand it and they just see dollar signs, they're gonna go after the highest offer.
Right.
But if we're talking about a $5,000, $10,000 difference where one guy has, a Word doc pre-approval that someone just wrote up on Microsoft Word versus an underwritten signed commitment letter, you know, you'd be crazy to take the other offer. 'Cause it's just a
100%.
total gamble. And you waste 2-3 months with that deal in contract. Who knows where the market is in 2 or 3 months?
And then now the agent has to relist the house if the deal goes south.
And what happens if the market changes? What if rates go to 9%
That
and the
too.
market dies?
And whose fault is it?
We don't know.
The agent.
Yeah.
Always, right?
Oh,
the agent's
of course.
fault.
It's always
You should have vetted this. You should have vetted this.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
There's so much out there.
They make it too easy, though.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Like, especially in the real estate industry, to get a real estate license, you just have to have a pulse.
Yeah.
I think they make it too easy, to be honest with you, because anyone could get a real estate license, you know, and you're dealing with transactions that it could be $1 million. Like,
Right.
You shouldn't just be able to just get a license, you know?
It's true. And that's,
Mortgage is a little tougher, but still the course, how long is the course? 30 hours or something?
yeah, it's a 20-hour course and then pass the test.
Yeah. You know, it's
And then you get a license number, then you can issue a pre-approval for $800,000.
it's crazy.
Now that person that's issuing the pre-approval, they could be in the business for 2 weeks or 2 years, and they can not collect any documents, speak to somebody on the phone. Person on the phone says they make $100,000. Reality, they really only make 96,
I've seen
97
verbal
grand.
pre-approval. It says on the bottom, like, it's
Verbal pre-approval.
Yeah, I've literally seen
In order to get you pre-approved, please submit your documents.
Yeah, and I'll like have an argument with the other agent. I'm like, yo, this is not even a pre-approval.
Yeah.
And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'll have to like highlight it and send it back to them so
Right.
that they understand like this is nonsense.
Right.
I can tell you I make $5 million a year. Does that mean I can go buy a house that's,
Right.
you know, $20 million now? You know, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I actually say that all the time to clients where they say like, you know, if we're at 6 1/4 and they're like, yeah, well, Chase can give it to me at 6 1/8. And I said, okay, I'm going to hang up, call you right back and say I can give it to you at 6%. What's the difference?
Oh yeah,
The
no,
loan's
people
already
lie
underwritten,
through their
like-
teeth in this business.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like-
well, right now it's just so dirty.
Yeah.
Because there's like just a lack of business.
everyone's hurting.
Yeah,
So.
people want to pick up market share. So either you're seeing people, you know, drop their pants to go really, really skinny on deals just to be able to get market share, or people charging people through the world just to be able to make some money because they haven't made any money in 6 months.
Yep.
So to me, that's, you know, the two differences in the business. I mean, everybody is expecting a housing crash, which
Not going.
there's no inventory. How could there be a
I
housing
have a
crash?
headache hearing that for the last 3 years.
Yeah, like what are you
Oh
waiting
my God,
for?
I'm waiting on the crash. I'm waiting on the crash. I'm waiting on the market.
Yeah.
I'm waiting on prices to drop. I'm like, all I've seen is prices go up. You know, they haven't gone up a lot in the last year, but they've stayed steady.
Right.
You know, they haven't gone down.
I think about like from July, because last year was pretty up, right?
Yeah.
You saw interest rates go up, right? So
Yeah.
there was a lot of payment shock for buyers, which I understood. But like think about from like August till December, where they said, oh, we're gonna wait till after the new year and see what happens with the market. Them and everybody else. And it seemed like everybody else after the new year came out of the woodworks, and now everybody's so busy with buyers because like our application numbers are up. It's just about finding these people houses, right? But if these people didn't wait, along with everybody else that was interested, didn't wait till January of this year, then last year, towards the end of last year, they could have negotiated seller concessions. They could have went and got the house.
There was like a 2-month window that you
Yeah.
had to get a really
2-3
good deal
month
on a
window.
house.
100%.
But a few weeks after New Year's, everything changed again.
Everything changed. Back to a seller.
You know what the other issue is we're having with inventory is that who right now would want to upgrade? You know, if I
wouldn't.
even if I had a 4.5% rate back from like 2017,
Yeah.
let's say, why would I want to upgrade to almost 7% or whatever the rates are
No, you
tomorrow?
can't
You
believe
know,
it.
like why would I do that?
We literally shot a video 2 weeks ago where I'm like, interest rates don't matter. By the time you figure out if you got a good rate or a bad rate, within 5 years, you're going to end up refinancing it or selling the house.
And a lot of people, as long as you can afford it today, you know.
Exactly. If you could afford the house.
If you could afford the payment today, I mean, eventually it'll get better. You know, my loan, I think, when I took out my mortgage on my house, it was in the mid 3s in early 2020. And then I actually wound up refinancing into the mid 2s. So I'm never selling my house.
Yeah.
Never,
exactly.
ever
Why
selling my
would
house.
you sell the house? But think about how many other people are like you.
Yeah.
And you have no care in the
But
world.
that's I'm a prime example.
Yeah.
You know, I'd love to
like
upgrade
you're
in the next
an
couple.
investor, so
Yeah.
you're going out.
Well, I'm gonna rent my house, but I'd love to upgrade
Right.
in the next few years. But why would I ever sell my house and go buy a $600,000-$700,000 house when my payment's gonna be $6,000 a month?
100%.
You know, I'm paying $2,700. Like,
Yeah.
why would I ever do that?
Listen, my plan was always to wait 5 years, right? My son's 10 months old.
Yeah.
Last year, I almost screwed myself because I was window shopping, fell in love with a house.
I remember.
And thank God it didn't go through.
Bet you're like that right now.
Yeah, 100%. But, you know, and now it's like, where are we going to go? Like, we don't need to do anything
You
right
don't
now.
need to. You're
No,
good. You're
we're fine.
I mean,
you
it's
know?
still you got years till he's in school. If it's a
Years
school
till he's in
district
school.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. There's
And you got plenty
room
of
in the house.
bedrooms. Yeah.
So,
Stay put.
as much as we want to upgrade,
But the thing we're saying right now is what's causing this crazy demand in the market.
and it is. But
It's a double-edged sword, you know. It really is.
It really is. And I don't see that part getting better. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen the rest of this. I mean, listen, historically, come
I think
April.
a little more rate rate relief, people will start making moves.
Yeah. Listen, you get sellers that are in the threes, call it, or high twos, and now they have to go into the low to mid fives. To me, that's not a big deal.
No, but when it's 7, it's a borrow. It's
Yes,
a problem.
100%.
Now, that's another $1,000 a month.
But if they're going from 2.875 to 5.25, all right, whatever. We have a
and
run.
people always are going to have to move. There's
Yeah.
no doubt about it. People have kids and they run out of room, or they get job relocations. People are always going to move.
Yeah. Or the downsizing.
People in 2008 were moving. A lot less of them were moving, but people were moving. You
True.
know, they're always going to move. You just got to be the one who's finding the people moving now.
Yeah. And then what I always say is, like, there's plenty of business out there. So if you want to keep complaining that the rates are too high, or doing this, or doing that, like, there's other real estate agents out there that are not complaining. They're just going out and getting business because, like you just said, people are still going to be buying houses.
I just
or
said to
selling
Clooney
houses.
before, we were talking about the market, and he's like, how's it treating you? I'm like, at the end of the day, we can't change the market.
No.
I just got to go out there, and
and
I just got to go out there and show up.
100%.
That's it. And having knowledge in this market is the most important thing right now, because if you're an idiot, you don't know what's going on, like, you're not going to do any business right now. But it's tough to do business right now.
You
got to be
explain to the clients, like, what's going on.
setting expectations.
Setting expectations.
I use that line all the time, because the worst thing you could do is tell a client, oh, it's a buyer's market right now. You're lying.
Yeah,
because what are you going to do when you go to place the offer and you tell them they got to come in 50,000 over asking?
Yeah.
Thought it was a buyer's market.
Right, exactly.
You got to set the first consultation with a buyer, even
So
or
you
seller.
do buyer consultations on.
It depends.
Yeah.
I treat everyone differently. If I have a client that calls me and says, hey, I want to see 123 Smith Street today, I'm not going to say, no, you got to come sit in my office first and I got to bore you for an hour. I'll meet them at the house and we do a mini consultation on the driveway.
Yeah.
You
fill them out on the phone call.
Yeah, every person's different. Some people don't want to, sit there and have you chew their ear for an hour, and other people, they want everything explained X, Y, and Z, and you have to do that with them. Everyone's
part of your job.
Everyone's different. So
Yeah.
I even with listing appointments, I go on a listing appointment. Some people, I'm there for 2 hours. I give them the whole shebang because they want to see everything.
Right.
Other people, they don't give a shit. How are you going to sell my house? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to do this.
How's a listing? Tell me about, like, a listing appointment.
I've
never asked anybody this.
Yeah, so basically, depending on how you get the deal, it all depends. If it's a referral, if it's family or friends, you're doing a completely different listing appointment. I'm not sitting there and boring them with a PowerPoint and a binder of all different.
But if you're getting a referral,
let's say it's a somewhat random person,
and it's
or a
interviewing
referral.
five different.
Yeah, you're going in there, you meet them, always suit and tie, always, no matter what. I would never go in there in like a polo. I wouldn't even go in there like that.
Yeah.
I'd go in like this with a jacket. First impression's everything. You want to go in there and look like a stud. You tour the house usually. That's my first thing. I always take notes. And the reason I always take notes is because one time I got a listing because they said they interviewed another agent. He didn't listen to anything they were saying when they walked around the house. He didn't write one thing down. They were so impressed that I took notes about everything about the house. I said, of course I'm taking notes. I said, I'm going to sell your house. When I go back home and I load it on the MLS, you think I can remember everything you just said?
Right.
Of course I'm going to take notes.
Yeah.
So you walk the house, take notes. Usually at that point, I'll sit down at the kitchen table, building rapport the whole time. You're kind of just getting to be friendly with them throughout this process. And then usually I'll sit down at the table. And at this point, I'm kind of going over, all right, what's your plan? Why are you moving? Where are you moving? What's your time frame? Kind of get that all out of the way up front, because now I'm getting clues on how to approach the appointment. If they tell me they're not moving for a year and they just want to price in their home, I may approach that differently than saying, they start their job in June, and they got to get the hell out. So the appointment will get approached differently at that point. But then generally speaking, at that point, I'm going to show them all what I'm going to do to market their house, how the process is going to work, X, Y, and Z, how I'm going to take them from putting a sign in their lawn to a closing table. And basically at this point, this is where you've built value. So you want to just build as much value as possible at this point, because when you hit them and they realize how much they owe you when this is all done, you want to make sure that that price has a reason. You want to make sure you built enough value to say, this is why you owe a $20,000 commission when the house sells, because I'm doing all of this for you.
Obviously there's a certain game plan that you come up with the sellers, right? Like, do you guys just want biggest number and you don't care about timeline? Or do you guys care about going quicker and pricing it right? Like, is there like that game plan?
I always try to push them through my strategies, and listen, some people have certain opinions on it, but I go with what has worked in the past. So when we get to pricing, usually after I do my value add, I'll do pricing. I'll run comps. I run live comps, so I don't sit there and drop a packet on their table, because I didn't really know what their house looked like before I sat down. Now I can look at pictures and compare it. I will review my comps prior. but I'm never just slapping a packet down saying, all right, I already knew what your house was worth before
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
here. I'm actually gonna show them, so I'm gonna pull up the map on MLS with the same size house in the same area, mile radius, pin their house on a map, and show them this house sold, and this house sold. And we'll look at the pictures. All right, this one's a little more renovated than yours. This one's a little more outdated than yours. So we're probably gonna fall somewhere here. The last thing you want, I don't want my listings to go more than like 30 days. Unless we're talking about a high-end listing,
Right.
that's a different animal. Under $1 million, I want my houses listed on MLS for no longer than 30 days.
Yeah.
The minute you
It's a
get
bad
longer
law.
than 30 days, you're gonna talking about price drops, and you're talking about a stale listing. A stale listing is the worst type of listing because now people are just gonna lowball you, and you're gonna get people with terms, and they're gonna lowball you. You know, I had a listing that unfortunately the seller didn't kind of take my advice on the list price, and I kind of caved a little bit, which I regretted. But once in a while you do it, and you know, it wound up sitting, and it took, you know, 70 days to sell the house. We did 2 price drops, and we got nothing but lowballs. When if we listed it right the first time, like I suggested, we may have been in a situation where we actually got over that price and wound up actually walking away with more money.
Yeah.
Because people just, you know, I had a buyer that did not have an agent who continued to text me every 2 weeks. Oh, I saw you did another price drop. She was offering $80,000 over the list price. And she continued to say, my offer still stands. Let me know when it doesn't sell.
Yeah.
That's what she was saying.
Yeah, she
know?
knows she's in control.
Exactly. So, you know, you can never underprice a house because the market will just drive it up from there.
Yeah.
And then, you know, at the end of the listing presentation, it's commission talk. You know, obviously they want to know what you're charging them. I always go for 5%. Agents will take 4%. Have I taken 4%? Of course, but I'm always going for 5% because I'm offering, in my opinion,
I love that.
I'm offering.
I love that.
I
Don't
know.
sell yourself short.
I just sat there for an hour and built
Yeah.
enough value to show you I'm putting money behind your listing,
Yep.
I'm putting time behind your listing, and I'm putting knowledge that I've gained over the last several years behind your listing to help you sell and make the most amount of money. You can go discount a 1% or 1.5% with someone else, and it may cost you $50,000 now because you did that. Where, you know, that guy will come to your table and they'll just say, oh, you want to list 50,000 over the market value? Sure, because they want to get a listing and they'll price reduce it later.
Yeah.
But they don't realize that's costing them so much money in the long term.
And time.
And time and opportunities of houses they could be buying or whatever the case may be. So, you know, at that point, and then I'm going to start filling out paperwork. I start filling it out. I don't ask.
Right then and there?
I do not ask.
Yeah.
I start filling it out. And sometimes I go, whoa, 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 you know.
Assume the sale.
I always start filling it out.
I love it.
You know, my commission's 5%. Here's the reason why. If I don't get any serious objections from that, I take my folder out. I start filling in their name and their address on the exclusive.
Yeah. What's your social? What's your credit card number?
Listen, and not every single one you're gonna get. You know, it's just reality. Some people, they do really need some time to think about it.
Yeah.
I'll push to a point where it's not gonna completely ruin it. Obviously, I'll push them because I want it signed there. Because the minute you walk out the door, your chances of getting that listing dramatically go down.
Hanging up with a client on
You
the
know,
phone. for a mortgage.
and Cindy will be putting a sign in the lawn next week. That
Yeah.
sold one deal in the last 5 years.
Right.
You know, so you know you'd never really want to walk out the door, but sometimes you have to. And if you do it the right way, you'll get a call back.
Yeah.
And obviously, follow-ups everything. You know, I have a few people I've sat down at their table and they wouldn't listen to me that day for all different reasons, but I'm still talking to them.
Yeah.
Every single day, you know, maybe not every day, but every couple of days, I'm calling them or texting them or emailing them, telling them what's going on in their neighborhood, whatever the case may be, or telling them about a sale I just had that I
I
got.
was literally just talking about this with somebody today, like how important follow-up is.
Oh, it's everything.
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 You know, my CRM, for instance, it does automated follow-up. So, you know, we've had clients that we haven't, you know, that ghosted us like 8 months ago.
Right.
We'll see them start poking around on our website.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's the beauty of the CRM we have is, but, you know, just in general, following up is everything because that person will buy a house, whether it's tomorrow or it's in a year. We had a year-old lead, wound up buying a $1.2 million house with us because follow.
We see that all the time.
Follow.
Yeah.
You
Follow.
know, and if it wasn't with one of our agents, it would have been with someone else's.
Sure.
1,000%.
Yep.
So when am I going to start kicking your ass in golf?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go.
That was good.
Oh, I'm in the water.
No.
Splashing.
No, you're good.
Oh.
You're good.
All right.
Nope.
Oof. In the trees.
I may have to take.
We're gonna have to get like a fake tree to put behind someone when you're like up in the trees, so it's like real. It's more realistic, you know. Kind of screw them up. 77 yards, nice and light.
Hit the
Oh, I almost got it in. Come on. How does putting work?
There's no putting. It's automatic. I put it on. So once you
So you just gotta get it on the green?
Just gotta get it on the green.
But like if you're really far, it's a 1-putt?
Yep. Oh no, they'll give you a 2-putt.
Yeah, about to say.
Like that's gonna be a 1-putt.
Sit down.
You're good. Coming back.
Bogey?
That's the one thing. Like I'm up like 1.4 strokes. Makes no sense.
What?
Yeah.
Because of the putting distance? Is that why they do that?
I don't know.
It's probably because of the putting distance. So they're probably calculating distance on the putt. Oh, I see some people already touch the ceiling here.
That would be Gene Kohler.
How do you even get it there like that?
We got it from TaylorMade. We got a driving iron, which is pretty sick. And he went and swung with it. It's a long club.
It's like almost behind you. You have to put like a tape line down so no one gets whacked in the face with a club. Because that was close. I felt a little breeze come off the club.
There's got to be a safety line.
You're gonna have to put something down.
Good ball.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They wanted me to go 160 on the fairway. I
hit
said,
that
no, 171, baby.
Where is this kid coming from?
He lives in like southern Nassau. I think he works out in Massapequa a lot.
Yeah. I'm good with this club. 56.
56. You're 180 yards out.
I was 200 out. I want to get within 100.
Okay.
Course management, bro.
Alrighty. Oh god, I shanked that so bad. Oh man, it's like ever talking smack. Oh, I'm in a bush.
107. Too much.
Do you have Charlie coming tonight too?
No, he canceled.
He was sick.
Too much. I don't know my own strength. Oh my God.
Oh, too much. Smoked it.
No, you're on.
Oh wow.
What a
Let's go.
shot. You get that one? I had a chip on. Part it.
Wow.
Mike, thanks for coming, bro.
It's been my pleasure.
If anybody has any questions about buying a home or selling a home, hit up my buddy Mike Foley at Frontline Real Estate.
Mike Foley, broker, Frontline Realty. Call us anytime. And you need a mortgage, call John LoPresti, best in the business.